Welcome back to Mae Sot, Thailand. It is Monday, November 30th, and as you can see, I've got my fancy shirt on, my oh-so-fancy shirt, and that can mean only one thing. I'm on my way to the immigration office. It feels like I was just at immigration yesterday, and in fact, it wasn't that long ago. It was about, it was exactly 1 week ago. I went to the immigration office, the TAC immigration office, and I put in an application for something. I understood at the time that I could get a 60-day something. I thought it was a new 60-day tourist visa. But when I got there, I ended up filling out an extension of stay application, and I asked a bunch of questions about what was going on, but I didn't get any answers that I could understand. So in the end, I just filled out all the forms, paid the fee, and then it became a matter of something like a lottery here, a roulette wheel. And I was told to come back in 1 week, because they put an under consideration stamp in my passport that said come back on Monday, November 30th, which I'm now doing, and I will hand in my passport when I get there. They will take it, do things to it, look things up, do a bunch of stamping, stamp, and they'll hand my passport back to me, and then I'll get to open my passport and see what I got. It will be a surprise. Beyond the magic number of 60 days, doesn't really matter. That's the number we're looking for. We'll see if I get a stamp with the number 60 on it. I'm heading back out by motorcycle taxi again. In normal times, there would be a local kind of bus, a truck that fills up with people and goes back and forth to the bridge. But these days, of course, nobody goes to the bridge, so one's only option is to take a taxi of some kind to head out there. One thing I've learned over the years, and you can consider this a kind of tip for these situations, is that in theory, all I really need to do today is bring them my passport. That's all they need. I hand them my passport, and they stamp it and hand it back to me. So even as I was packing up to go to immigration this morning, I was thinking, oh great, I only need to bring my passport. I don't have to worry about anything else. But as I've learned, that is a big mistake. Even if you think you only need this or that to go to an official government office, if you bring only this or that, you often find yourself in trouble because they will ask for something you didn't bring. So my rule of thumb is to always bring everything. Even if you don't think you'll need it, bring it anyway. So I made sure to pack up all of my documents, all of my papers, all of my photocopies that I've acquired over the past few months. I've got photocopies of everything in my life, multiple copies of everything. So, and money, of course. In theory, I've already paid for I've already paid the fee. I shouldn't have to pay anything extra today, but you just don't know. So, bring photos, bring money, bring all your documents, bring all your photocopies, bring all your phone numbers and addresses and receipts. Just bring it all. And you may not need it. You probably won't need it, but you might. So it's always nice to have everything with you. This is my friendly neighborhood motorcycle taxi place, but there's nobody here this morning. I guess I will sit down and wait for someone to show up. These places get a little bit dirty and dusty over the years, but I guess they're comfortable places for the drivers to hang out. as they wait for fares. Got a rooftop and they can get out of the sun. And over here is a board that has a whole bunch of nails in it and then numbers. So number 1, number 6, 3, 5, 4, 12. And so they have some sort of a system going on here. I'm still here. It's kind of unusual. I've never seen this place empty like this for such a long time. But I think things are afoot. A driver just went by with a passenger and he looked back and saw me here and he kind of waved. So I think he's going to drop off his current passenger, come back and get me. It's funny, the last time I did this, I started from here as well. And the driver that I got just happened to be the one driver who was here. And his scooter was quite an old, rickety one. And he cranked it up to a high speed. And underneath me, it felt like it was going to tear itself apart. He was pushing it to its limits. But then when I came back from immigration into the city, I got quite a new motorcycle. A guy was riding a fairly nice bike, a small one. It was still, I think, 125cc or something, but it was quite new, and you could really feel the difference in power and the smoothness. But I think this guy who's coming to get me might even have been the same guy from before with the rickety one. So I might have a, a rickety ride out to immigration again this morning. Hey buddy, how are you? I don't have any food for you, but we could be friends. What do you think? You want to come over and be friends? Yeah? What do you think? No, I think he just would like some food, but that's about all. Hello. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Miyawadi.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So we're back on the way, and it is the same driver from before. And another beautiful day on the road. Just as I was sitting there, I was looking at these street signs, and for the first time I noticed that symbol up above. I want to figure out what that symbol means. I'm here at the Friendship Bridge once again. There it is right over there. The Mae Sot boundary post. I've always liked the name Friendship Bridge. I like it that Thailand names all its bridges to other countries friendship bridges. Sends a nice signal. The last time I came down here a week ago, I ran into puppies over there, Pomeranians, I think. And I hope they gave me puppy power good luck. We'll see if they're out today. One thing that struck me as I was sitting on the back of this motorcycle taxi is that it's kind of fun when your first language is English, as mine is, because English has been adopted worldwide and they use it on signs everywhere you go. They have everything written in the local language, but then there's often an English translation. And you can just sort of entertain yourself by reading all of the English signs that are around and thinking about them. I think I passed the Boom Boom Transportation Company back there. I don't know what is boom boom about their transportation, but I guess you have to find out. Take one of their trucks and find out what is so boom boom about it. I passed this Taekwondo center, and it had a big banner on the outside with, I guess, their slogan or the values they want to instill in their students, and they were all what you'd expect. Obey your parents, respect your teachers, show loyalty to your country and kindness to your friends, all these sorts of things. And way down at the very bottom it said, never retreat. I thought that kind of that made me think of the Karate Kid TV series, you know, Cobra Kai. Never retreat. I'm not quite sure what I think of that advice. I think Sun Tzu would not agree. I imagine in his works he wrote that sometimes retreating is your best option. Back off, because you know you're going to lose, and then regroup and look for a more advantageous position. So never retreat. I don't know if I like that philosophy or not. And I passed a company that sold signs, all kinds of commercial signs. And that was appropriate because I was looking around at signs, and the name of the company was the Good Sign Company. And I wondered if they chose that on purpose and they knew it was kind of a play on words, because we do say in English, if something is lucky, say, oh, that's a good sign. If I run into the puppies again this morning, I'll think, that's a good sign, a sign of good luck. And they called their company that sold signs the Good Sign Company. Or are they unaware that it is a play on words, and good is a good word in English, so we sell signs, we'll call our company the Good Sign Company? Or is it hey, that's a good sign company? And I'm standing here babbling, and I haven't moved because where the taxi driver dropped me off, there's another sign right here. And it's some kind of a store, shop. It's closed right now, of course, because of the lack of cross-border traffic. But they do a lot of copying and printing. And I noticed issuing documents in telephone. And I had to think about that for a while. And then it finally occurred to me, that's probably faxes, right? They have a fax machine, or they used to have a fax machine. I don't know. But also look at the multilingual nature of it. Thai at the top, Burmese, English, and then Chinese characters down at the bottom. Making a sign in a place like Thailand, particularly on a border, is no easy task. You've got a lot to think about. I have to say that it is a bit unfortunate that Thailand has this under consideration system. However things work out, poorly or well, a trip to an immigration office is always a stressful experience. You don't want to do it too often if you can help it. So it's kind of nice if you can go to an immigration office, go through all of the stress, get your stamp, or get denied, whatever happens, and then leave and get it all over with in one visit, which is nice. But here everything has this go in, hand in your application, and then return later to find out what happens. So it always involves 2 trips to the office no matter what. And in scanning all of the expat forums on Facebook, I'd noticed that people are reporting from all over the country different experiences about this. That I got an under consideration stamp saying, come back in 7 days, which to me is the first time I've ever heard of a 7-day return date. Other people will report 15 days, some a month, and others have reported weird things like come back in 3 months or something. Just like really weird, irregular dates for this under consideration system. You know, we've accepted your application, now come back in 3 months and we'll give you our answer, or come back in 1 week. So there's a lot of, there's also an element of a lottery going on there. You never quite know what's going to happen. Anyway, here I am again at immigration. There's a different view of the immigration office. Oddly enough, that is the main office. I mean, that's where most people go. I see, back in the old days when there were more people here, there'd be big crowds of Burmese, for example, crowding around there. The foreigner section is right here, this tiny white structure, this little hut over here, that's for foreign tourists like me. So that's where I'm going once I go through the main gate. The main gate. As always, shutting down the camera while I go into immigration. I thought about just holding it in my hand and bringing it in and just sort of capturing a little video of what the inside of the office looks like, but nah, it's best anything official, anything government, put the camera away. I don't want to be chastised this morning. No puppies on the way here, but maybe I brought my own good luck with me today. Let's head in and find out. Maybe when I come out, I will just go straight to a coffee shop. I saw one just over there, looked quite nice, and maybe I'll sit down there, get a cup of coffee, and then I will tell you what I got. So I'm going to keep you in suspense until I have a cup of coffee in front of me. I have left immigration, and because I have my mask on, you can't tell whether I'm happy or sad, but I'm at the coffee shop that I mentioned, and I thought I'd show the outside of it before I go inside and get my coffee. I've actually walked by this place a few times, and it always surprised me each time that it was looking as open and as inviting as it does, considering that there's rarely any people here these days. There it is there, the yellow sign, Alisa Cafe. I like the name. And there's the outside of it. Lots of "we are open" and "come in, we are open" signs. And yeah, apparently they home deliver through Food Panda, which almost everyone does these days. So I imagine the menu is fairly standard coffee shop items. Let's take a look at this before I go inside. Oh, Italian sodas, which I see listed everywhere. I've never had one, I've never ordered one. Whole bunch of teas. And then our coffee page, Alisa coffee, latte, cappuccino, hot, cold, blended, and tea and milk. Oh, and they also serve food, salads, sandwiches, toast, cake, things like that. Smoothies, look at that, okay. And a healthy menu. Granola and yogurt parfait, granola, milk and fruit, chia pudding, detox drink. So we've got a little bit of a healthy vibe going on at this cafe too. But I am not going to go crazy today. I'm just going to get a coffee, perhaps a iced latte or something like that, just to keep things simple. Let's put the menu back. What I also liked about this place was just the seating area that they have here on the outside. Really, I mean, they have those artificial wooden shutters, which I find really nice, and then a giant wooden plank serving as a table. Yeah, it's very nice. They've put an effort into establishing a kind of style for this outside area. Oh, and it continues on the inside too. A lot of plain wood. And some very cozy two-person tables here. That's very nice. And and look at this. At the back, a little living room setup. Alisa Coffee. Oh, now I feel bad that the border crossing is closed right now. because they definitely deserve a lot of customers for all the work they put into their layout and decor. Oh man, even a back area with a balcony. Barber chair, kind of vintage. Wooden window frames. Some cozy seating back here. More. What is going on? It even says Alisa Cafe down there. Here's a life lesson for me. Positive mind, positive vibes. Le Café Bistro. It's a very cool chair. Vintage TV. You have to wonder. And it looks like it looks like a real TV. Sure, it has a history, 1950s, I'm guessing. Just from my recent time watching The Queen's Gambit, makes me think of this old style. Could be from the 60s, maybe not quite as old as the 50s. But yeah, you have to wonder where that came from. Oh, controls on the barber chair. Maybe that's actually where I'll sit. Actually, it's a little bit warm in here, so I think I'm going to sit outside where there might be more airflow. And here's another view of the interior. And the living room setup. Very nice. I put in my order. I ordered a iced latte, and for some crazy reason I ordered a tuna sandwich. It was there on the menu, and they actually have them and can make them, and I'm actually kind of hungry, so I'm getting a tuna sandwich as well. I thought I'd come down into the garden area just for a minute, just to get the whole picture. Yeah, it's really nice down here too. There's the sign for Alisa Cafe down here in the garden area, and the washroom is over there. There's the interior of the cafe. And they have the same style going on down here, the white walls with the wooden shutters. And a parking area out back. Check this out, jackfruit tree. Though I don't quite know what to call it. Is it a jackfruit tree? I know that's a jackfruit there. And you see a whole bunch of them. But I'm not sure what the tree itself is called. I don't know where to sit exactly because I kind of want to sit inside, but they are playing music inside, and I can't have music playing on the video. And outside was actually a little bit noisy with the trucks going by. I think I'll have to go outside. Here's a nice display of items. And of course, something I could probably use in my life if I ever find a hat that suits me. I think I do have to turn into a hat guy someday. And they make some specialty desserts as well, cakes and pies. And there's the serving area, or preparation area, I guess. And this is where I'll sit, I think. There is a bench there, and I have a wall I can lean against. And this is a nice touch in keeping with the quasi-vintage style of this place. An old wooden... Yeah, I mean, that's local, isn't it? That's not a Western truck or anything. That's a local Thai-style truck. So that would have been completely hand-built. Very interesting. I think I chose wisely. This is a good place to sit. And I'm very comfortable out here, and I can lean back if I need I need my classic backrest. I spoke to the women inside, and they said they've been open for 4 years. And as I said, I ordered a cafe latte and a tuna sandwich. I was my usual self as I'm ordering the tuna sandwich.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye. As I've got this internal dialogue going on about, is it okay to order a tuna sandwich? Am I making their lives more difficult by doing this? So I had to ask for permission first. And they said, yeah, we can make a tuna sandwich if that's what you want. So there we go. That is what I am getting. Okay. I was about to dive into the whole immigration issues, but my ice latte has arrived. Let's give this a once over. Look at that. Alisa Cafe. They even have their own monogrammed cups. Alisa Cafe, Rim Mae Sot. Yeah, nice presentation. It's always a nice touch. The little things are really, the little things of life interest me. And when it comes with a straw already in the drink, and maybe this is a recent innovation with the situation that we're all living under these days, that instead of just tearing the straw out of the wrapper and putting the straw in, I've noticed they are careful never to touch the straw. And to illustrate that they haven't, they leave half of the paper covering on. So they took the paper off, but then they inserted it this way, and they've never actually touched the straw. And you as the customer can pull that off. I appreciate attention to detail. You know what I'm going to say. Nice. That's nice. Yeah, the coffee flavor is nice. It's got a roasted, I was going to say chicory. I have no idea what chicory is. I probably picked that up from old TV commercials about coffee. But it makes me think of a roasted, dark kind of coffee flavor. Chicory. It's sweet, so the standard serving would be sweet. That's fine with me. I could use a hit of sugar this morning. Oh, thank you. Things are happening. Wow. Kind of I keep looking for words these days, and I can't find them. But this plate probably isn't what I'm thinking of, but it reminds me of a special kind of clay type of pottery or something. But you know the word I'm looking for. Very, very heavy and durable. Anyway, there is my tuna sandwich. Looks great. Toasted bread, and kind of like the layers of a club sandwich. Tasty. Tastes like tuna. And I don't have a whole lot of range in my tuna sandwich life, so I don't have anything much to compare it to, but it's fine. The prices, 50 baht for the iced latte and 40 baht for the tuna sandwich. Maybe I'll dive in and finish this before we get on to the subject of the hour, my visit to immigration. Tuna sandwich done, slowly getting through my iced latte. And I'm pretty sure there is something unique about the flavor to this coffee. I think they added some kind of a secret ingredient. And if I remember to do it, I'm going to ask if there is such a thing, because there's something going on there, something unusual. But maybe we'll find out. I don't feel quite as bad about the lack of traffic for this business, that maybe they don't have a lot of customers, because in the time that I've been sitting here, a ton of people have been coming in and out, and they are a different clientele than just people that may have normally been going back and forth across the border. These are obviously, to me anyway, they look like fairly wealthy people from this area, and I guess this is their coffee shop. Enough dilly-dallying. What happened with my passport and my extension of stay? Well, nothing but good news. Good news across the board. I went into the office. It was not busy, which was wonderful. Everybody there was exceptionally friendly, and in kind of an unusual twist, I think in my past visits to this office, my one concern that I had was a difficulty in getting my questions answered. That has been a theme of this office because of the language barrier and the sort of the system they have for processing customers or people who come in. And but this time I was able to ask as many questions as I wanted to. A woman came out to the information counter to hand me my passport back, and she stood there and explained to me what the stamp was all about, and then I asked my questions. I only had 2, I think, and she answered them to the best of her ability and was very pleasant the entire time, and things could not have gone better. So I got a 60-day extension of stay, which takes me until January 29th in the year 2021. I don't know. It's a bit of a cliche, I suppose, to be amazed at the passage of time. Like, of course, time passes. It's what time does. It's kind of dumb to be amazed at it, but at the same time, to actually hear myself saying the year 2021 is really kind of astonishing. So, I'm allowed to stay in Thailand until January 29th, 2021, a full 60 days from today, which is quite an unusual situation to be in. And before I even asked my question, the woman explained that this is extendable. The last time I was here, I got the impression that they were waiting for clarification from the government about whether this particular extension or visa or whatever it is extendable. And apparently they got the word that it is extendable. And I asked a follow-up question just to make sure. I asked, so it is extendable? And she said yes. And the extension would be for an additional 60 days? She said yes. And I asked if I could go to any immigration office. Like, do I have to return here? Is this a special extension and I have to return to TAC immigration? Or could I go to the Bangkok office or any other immigration office? And she said I can go to any immigration office in the country to get that extension. And nothing but good news across the board, as I said. But there is one little detail that is a little bit confusing, and I really wanted to ask about that, because when I got my last extension, there's a stamp at the bottom that says notification of residence must be made every 90 days. And I never got that stamp before. This is the first time I'd ever seen that. And as I understood things, if you stayed in Thailand for years and years on a retirement visa, and you're staying longer than 90 days, every 90 days you have to submit a report. Actually, I have the form here. I picked one up. So this one is the TM47 form, which is the form for alien to notify of staying longer than 90 days. TM47. And you can do this online as well. And if you go into the online forums for expats, this 90-day reporting is a topic of much discussion. A lot of details to work. People try to register online and the system works or it doesn't work, and people have a lot of questions about it. So I'm very aware of this. And then when I saw the stamp in my passport that now I have to report every 90 days, I don't know anything about this system, so I wanted to clarify with them, how do I do this and when do I do it exactly? Because technically I've been in Thailand much longer than 90 days, but it's only been 60 days since I got my first 90-day stamp. So I'm a little bit puzzled by all this, and I didn't know whether I had to do it in person, whether I can do it online, et cetera, et cetera. And she said to me, no, it does not apply to you. That's only for long-term residence style visas. This is a short-term tourist stamp, and so you do not have to register every 90 days. And that's good news. Obviously, that's good news. But of course, it's stamped all over my passport. I think I have it in here, how many times now? At least 3 times it says, notification must be made every 90 days. Notification must be made every 90 days. And the stamp I got today, the one she gave me today, says notification must be made every 90 days. I mean, it's they stamped it all over my passport. So I figured it must apply to me, but she says, no, you can just ignore all that because it does not apply to you. And being a reasonable sort of fellow, of course, my follow-up question would normally be, well, if it doesn't actually apply to me, why is it stamped in my passport so many times? But she seemed very clear on the matter that I do not have to do this. But it does bother me that it's stamped in there, so I'll probably end up thinking about this all the time. And it's just one of those things. If you do not want to be bothered by issues of visas and immigration, then stay in your home country, basically. One of the prices to be paid for being around the world away from your home country is, this is what you have to deal with. It is the price of admission to be in this amazing place and to be able to go to the Alisa Cafe. So it's a price I'm willing to pay, I suppose. Yeah. Didn't have any puppy power today, but maybe the puppy power from the last week was so powerful it extended all the way until today. So, very happy about that. Time to head back into Mae Sot and get on with my life. I'm about to get onto a motorcycle taxi to take me back into Mae Sot. But there's one other thing about this area around the Friendship Bridge that I thought I would point out. Kind of a secret, particularly for any foreigner that happens to be going to immigration here at the TAC office or is crossing the border, because there's actually an outdoors shop here, kind of a high-end outdoor equipment shop, which is such an unusual sight to find out here in an area like this where they sell sea to summit gear and all that kind of thing. And it's right across, here's the border crossing point, the checkpoint where you start if it were open. And over there is the motorcycle taxi stand. And that brown building right there is an outdoor shop. I don't know the name of it. I'm going to walk across and bring us closer and perhaps go inside just for a quick tour. I'm not in the market for anything right now, but you never know. I'm always on the lookout for some gidget or gizmo or gadget or something. And what is it called? It looks like Tawan Chai 9 is the name of this shop. And I'll pop inside just for a second to take a look around with the GoPro to show you what I mean. It is just such a unusual thing to find right here. So there's Tawan Chai 9, tactical and outdoor gear. And they have a website, so you can check out their website and see what they have for sale. I am very much at home in a place like this because I'm always shopping for gadgets of one type or another. So of course you've always got Bear Grylls products. I've never bought anything from his company that I can remember. And you've actually got some hunting, camouflage kind of equipment. A whole bunch of pocket knives, of course. A whole bunch more over here. Your basic carabiners and other gadgets. More gadgets. Knapsacks. And then a whole bunch of outdoor style clothing back here. And here's another name that would be familiar to anyone that goes to shops like these, the Pack Safe company. And they sell a lot of money belts and other items for security as you travel around. And then on this side, if I remember right, yeah, here they have the display of sea to summit gear, which is more my speed. I'm actually a big fan of sea to summit products. They always seem to have a little bag or pouch or something that exactly suits what I'm looking for. So I love stuff sacks of any variety. And I have, actually I have one of these eye shades from Sea to Summit. I kind of need a new one. It's getting worn out. And then all the dry sacks and things like that. And sleeping bags, and I assume there are tents in here somewhere. So, yeah, some knapsacks, hiking boots. These just seem to be the kinds of things that backpackers going around the world might be in need of. And if you just happen to cross over from Myawaddy into Mae Sot, crossing the border from Myanmar into Thailand, or vice versa, you can pop in here while you're waiting at the border or waiting at the immigration office and do some shopping. Replace some of your worn out gear. There's the store behind me. Taiwan Chan-9 tactical gear. My one concern about this place might be that things like the Sea to Summit products, for example, they've probably been on that display for 4 or 5 years already, waiting to be purchased. I think a lot of the items for sale might have been on the shelves for quite a long time, so it may not be as fresh and brand new from the factory as you might like. But hey, if you need a waterproof stuff sack or a new pocket knife or something as you're traveling around and you're at the immigration office, yeah, you can drop by here, pick something up.